Welcome to episode 60 of the State of the Market for Law Firm Sales in 11 Minutes. My name is Jeremy Pook, and I lead Senior Attorney Match. Today's in 11 minutes will focus on the do's and don'ts for succession planning for lawyers in the mid-2020s. So let's jump right into it with the do's. Okay, the do's for succession planning for lawyers in the mid-2020s. It's really five do's that we recommend that senior attorneys, that is, lawyers that have practiced more than 30 years, are considering succession planning for their practices. There are five do's that we suggest as lawyers are considering succession planning for their practices. First and foremost on the do list is to please update your book of business, update the contact information of the addresses, email addresses, cell phone numbers of your clients. Why? Because the most valuable asset of a senior attorney led firm is their client list. Because growing law firms, which tend to be the preferential purchasers for law firms, what they're most interested in, what they need, what they want is more clients. So as you're preparing to sell your law firm, your most valuable asset is your book of business. Within your book of business is your clients and your referral sources. Very important to update the addresses, emails, and cell phone numbers for your clients and referral sources. The second do on the planning list as you're considering succession planning for your practice is to recognize that your key employee lawyers do not want to purchase their boss's law firm. This is a really important do on that do list because so many senior attorneys, they assume that their key employee lawyers are really their internal successors, but really you hired key employee lawyers as key employees. They accepted a job from you at one point. They wanted a job then, and by and large, what we continuously see in the marketplace is that key employee lawyers, they want and need a reliable, predictable, and safe job. They do not aspire to purchasing their boss's practice, and they can't afford to either. The third do on the do list for succession planning for your firm is to update the content and the pictures on your website, as well as reach out to your clients. Please ask them for 5-star Google reviews. So let's start with the content on the website. Any potential purchaser for your practice, let alone any client today, the first stop that they have before they're going to contact you is they look at your website. They want to read your bios. They want to read the content. They want to listen to content if you have videos or if you have links to podcasts on your websites. So if you have a picture of yourself from 20 years ago, yes, I'm sure if you're a man, you had more hair on your head, similar to me. If you're a woman, okay, you look 20 years younger, but it's important to have that updated picture of yourself, of the lawyers at your firm, of your staff. Also, very importantly, if you have articles from 10 plus years ago, it was great that you wrote an article in 2005, but we're in the mid-2020s right now. It's important to remove stale content and add new content. And yes, 5-star Google reviews. We look for 5-star Google reviews with anything and everything today, right? If we are going to stay at a hotel, if we're going to take a certain airline, we're going to buy a pair of sneakers, we're going to buy a book, we look at reviews. Well, clients do, as do potential purchasers of your firm. They're going to want to see that you have 50 plus, 100 plus, ideally 200 plus 5-star Google reviews. It's not easy. Of course it's not. But when it's there, it looks great. And your clients, they know you, they like you, they trust you. And if that means you have to hire an outside company to assist and reach out to clients that know, like, and trust you, they want to support you and to provide those 5-star Google reviews, absolutely on the do list. The fourth on the do list is to recognize and consider that selling or merging with a growing law firm is the ideal option, what we call the preferred option for senior attorneys for selling their law firm. So why growing law firms? Because growing law firms need three resources at any given time that senior attorney-led firms have. Those three resources that senior attorney-led firms have that growing law firms want and need are first and foremost the client list, right? Your clients and your referral sources as well. Second is your experienced workforce, your lawyers and parastaff. Those same lawyers at your firm, your key employee lawyers who do not want to purchase your practice and can't afford to, well, they're tremendous assets to growing firms that are always looking for experienced, talented lawyers who know the practice areas where you practice in, as well as your para-staff. So that's the first and foremost resource that growing law firms need. Or I'm sorry, that's the second. That's the second asset resource that growing law firms need. And the third is your subject matter knowledge. You and the lawyers at your practice have accumulated subject matter knowledge over the course of your careers. Well, in today's what we call 3.0 digital era for the legal industry, growing law firms, they need that subject matter knowledge. Why? They need it because they need to convert your subject matter knowledge into digital content. All of the time that you do not have to create videos for YouTube, podcasts for recording and for posting podcasts to the internet, for e-newsletters, for posting to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and whatnot. Growing law firms want and need that subject matter knowledge of yours to convert into digital content to attract the attention of today's and tomorrow's clients who are looking online to know, like, and trust lawyers and law firms before contacting them. And then the fifth on the do list as you're considering succession planning for your practice is to expand your digital marketing efforts. If you're not planning to sell your law firm in the next 3 to 6 months, let's say, and you're having a longer view of when you're looking to sell, it is critical to recognize that we are in that 3.0 digital era for the legal industry, and that clients today are not calling their brother, their sister, their accountant, their gym buddy. They are going straight to America's greatest referral source for lawyers, which is Uncle Google. And if clients are looking on Google and other social media platforms for lawyers and law firms to hire, it is absolutely critical as you're planning for succession planning for your practice to build and expand upon your digital marketing efforts to attract clients, to make sure that your book of business remains filled with clients, because again, that book of business is your most valuable asset when it comes to selling your law firm to a growing law firm. So now let's look at the don'ts. When it comes to the don'ts for succession planning for lawyers in the mid 2020s, there's 5 don'ts that we really want senior attorneys and senior attorney led firms to be aware of. On that first don't list, in terms of what, as you're succession planning for your practice, the first don't is don't wait too long. Okay. If your practice is not generating as many new clients as it did pre Google, then it's not going to replenish more clients, because the genie is out of the bottle. It is not coming back in that bottle. That post 2020, clients look online for lawyers. And if clients aren't finding you because you grew your practice in the pre-Google era, that word of mouth era, then you're just not going to replenish your book of business as you did in yesteryear. And if your book of business becomes less filled with clients, your book of business is going to become less valuable. Hence, your law practice is going to become less valuable. The second on the don't list is please don't assume that your key employee lawyers want to become internal successors to your law firm. At some point, your key employee lawyers are going to do a risks versus rewards analysis, and they are going to determine that it is too risky to succeed to and purchase your law firm. Yes, they could benefit by potential profits by taking over your law practice, but on the risks side, what they recognize too is, what if they don't generate enough new business? How can they replace the senior attorney founder? What if other lawyers in their firm leave, or para staff leave? And what they really want is a reliable, predictable, and safe job. So please do not assume that your key employee lawyers want to succeed to your practice, because, just to really emphasize the point, what they really want is a reliable, predictable, and safe job. Third on the don't is please don't underestimate Google. as America's greatest referral source for attorneys. We are regularly saying that Uncle Google is America's greatest referral source for lawyers and America's greatest rainmaker for law firms. And by underestimating that, senior attorneys will not generate as many new clients as they did in yesteryear, and their books of business will become less valuable, and the law firm will become less valuable for potential buyers. The fourth on the don't list is to please don't maintain your status quo for too long. It is so easy to fall into the habit that today is like yesterday and tomorrow will be like today. So let's maintain the status quo. And what we see in the marketplace is two forms of random Tuesdays that can demolish, or maybe demolish is too strong, but significantly impact the value of a senior attorney led firm. And here are those two random Tuesday occurrences. One is when a key employee lawyer leaves your firm. That has a short term and a long term impact. Short term is that you lose revenues because that key employee lawyer or lawyers, they generate significant revenues for the firm. Longer term, they could take key clients with them. And also, growing law firms want and need your key employee lawyers to continue representing your clients post sale. So if you don't have those key employee lawyers because one or more left on a random Tuesday, the value of your practice decreases significantly. Second random Tuesday event is, God forbid, a senior attorney founder of a firm becomes disabled or predeceases. In both of those instances, if the attorney is not there to transfer the trust of his or her clients to a purchaser, then the value of the practice unfortunately just plummets. And the fifth on the don't list is to please don't overlook converting your subject matter knowledge to digital marketing content, because senior attorneys today, you have developed subject matter knowledge in multiple practice areas. That knowledge is great to share with would-be clients, your current clients, a judge, but it also presents treasure chests of content for digital content to publish to multi-channel digital platforms. I know that's a mouthful, but multi-channel digital marketing is here. And if you're not planning to sell your law firm in the next 3 to 6 months, we highly recommend, please hire a digital marketing company. They will look at your subject matter knowledge similar to how I look at it. It represents treasure chests of digital content to attract the attention of would-be clients that want to know, like, and trust you, but they need to find you first. And they find you first today digitally by looking online as they're searching for lawyers and law firms to hire. So for today's recap about the do's and don'ts for succession planning for lawyers in the mid-2020s, we'll do an old-fashioned top 10 here. So the top 10 in terms of the do's and don'ts for succession planning for lawyers in the mid-2020s. 5 on the do side, 5 on the don'ts. On the do side, please update your book of business. The addresses, cell phone numbers, email addresses for your clients. Please, on the do side, recognize your key employee lawyers. They do not want to purchase your practice and they can't afford to either. Third on the do list is update the content on your website, your pictures, the content, removing old content, asking your clients for 5-star Google reviews. Fourth on the do list is consider selling to a growing law firm, because growing law firms need 3 resources that senior attorney-led firms have: your client list, your experienced workforce, and your subject matter knowledge that they want and need to convert to digital content. And the fifth on the do list is to expand your digital marketing efforts, because today's and tomorrow's clients look online when they're searching for lawyers and law firms to hire. On the don'ts list, there's 5 don'ts. First on the don'ts is please don't wait too long to sell your law firm if you're not generating clients digitally. Because if you wait too long, you're not going to replenish that all-important book of business and your law firm will become less valuable. Second on the don't list is please don't assume that your key employee lawyers want to become internal successors. Your key employee lawyers, they want a reliable, predictable, and safe job. They do not want to purchase their boss's law firm. Third on the don't list is don't underestimate Google as America's greatest referral source for lawyers. The age of the rainmaker attorney was great, but we are in what we call the age of the vanishing rainmaker, because Uncle Google is where clients look and search for lawyers today. And if you underestimate Uncle Google, then you're then your book of business will not replenish as it did in yesteryear. The fourth on the don't list is please don't maintain your status quo for too long, because a random Tuesday event could happen. Two examples of random Tuesday events are the unexpected departure of a key employee lawyer or another key employee, your superstar paralegal, as an example. Second, on a random Tuesday is the unfortunate happenstance of a founder or attorney of a senior attorney-led firm that becomes disabled or predeceases. In either of those events, the value of the practice unfortunately just plummets. And the fifth on the don't list is please don't overlook converting your subject matter knowledge to digital content, because your subject matter knowledge presents treasure chests of potential digital content to publish digitally, to publish online, so that clients can know, like, and trust you and your law firm in advance of hiring you. And that and that is the state of the market for much more today than 11 minutes.